my question is, to what extent does social norms related to gender have had a negative effect on teenagers in the United States since the 2000s? My argument is social norms related to gender have had a negative effect on teenagers in the United States since the 2000s. The ways that it is affecting teenagers are being peer pressured by society, substance abuse, and suicide rates increasing. In the image, The Holdout by Norman Rockwell, a famous illustrator provided by College Board Stimulus. As you can see here in the image, the men are giving her judgmental looks for being there. This shows how society treats others and how it is peer pressuring them. In this infographic, you can see that the larger percentages of LGBTQ plus students are being verbally harassed due to their sexual orientation or gender expression. In the lower percentages, you can see that students are being physically harassed due to their sexual orientation and gender expression. This harassment is able to show that due to people's judgment, LGBTQ students are being harassed and pressured because of their sexuality and gender identity. Due to this harassment, they are more likely to use drugs. In the infographic, substance use among transgender students in California public middle and high school, it shows that transgender students are 2.5 more times likely to use drugs than cisgender peers. The pressure caused by harassments leads to these types of students to use drugs. In the academic article, Sexual Minority Disputes and Substance Use Willingness among youth states that sexual minority youth also indicates greater willingness to drink alcohol, smoke a cigarette, or smoke marijuana if it was offered by a best friend or a group of friends compared to their non-LGBT sexual minority students. Therefore, because sexual minority students are more likely to use drugs, they are more likely to have mental health issues. An academic article by Diamond Lisa M., who researches in sexual orientation, development, sexual identity, and bonding, states that numerous studies that documented stigmatism, victimization, and bullying among gender diverse youth, and these experiences account for the fact that gender diverse youth have higher rates of anxiety, depression, and self-harm, and are disproportionately likely to commit suicide. Hence, the higher the rates of the usage of drugs, the higher the mental issues students have. In an academic article by Hector Tyler, who is a department in physiology and an interest in the well-being of LGBTQ health, states that the LGBTQ adolescents in our sample have a higher prevalence of both suicide intentions and attempts compared to their non-LGBTQ peers. Moreover, the mental health causes LGBTQ students to be more prone to higher suicide tendency. Teaching people about LGBTQ community can positively lead to more people accepting them less suicide in the community and less peer pressure. But the negative side is that people will refuse to listen, and which will lead them to harass the community, and the positive effects are mitigated. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
First question, was there evidence that you gathered but you didn't use, and then why didn't you use it?
There was some where there was some evidence that would only apply to a certain group, like just females and males, but it didn't really relate to mine because it's mostly about LGBTQ students.
Okay. And what advice would you have for researchers who consider this as a topic in the future?
It could help spread awareness of certain issues, and that they need to do more research on certain topics and certain sexualities and gender identities.